Let's watch this video and let's look at this timeline, all right?
You gonna sign this? Sign the damn papers. And we need that. Wedding ring. Watch. Come about that.
One of the biggest names in rap.
Taking the wedding ring is diabolical, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Your marriage. Give me that shit. Crazy. Crazy. Furry B said, please, the dad went with him to Staples to print out the contract release. He was in on it. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, because if you're going there for a conversation, to go there already with the contracts, does that say like, yo, we came here, like you going to sign this contract? Or is that him being prepared in case he says, yeah, I'll let you out? I don't know.
Rap history, a man who built an entire empire from the ground up got robbed at gunpoint in a recording studio by his own artist. And that's not even the craziest part, because Pooh Shiesty's dad helped plan the whole thing. Big 30 was there blocking the door so nobody could escape. They flew a whole crew from Memphis to Dallas specifically for this operation. And when it was all over, they posted the stolen Rolex watches on Instagram.
All right, y'all. I feel like it's going to be a bunch of moments in this video where we just got to stop and acknowledge how dumb this shit was. I think there's gonna be a lot of points in this video where we just gotta stop and be like, this shit dumb as fuck. Like, y'all posted the stolen items. Why do you feel the need to show that you have these stolen items? I don't understand people. Like, all right. I'm not even gonna try to understand. Every time I try to understand, I just get flustered. I don't know where to go with it because it just don't make sense. Damn, King Black Power going in. Golly, bruh. Sheesh. It said, sounds like an episode of Boondocks. Yeah. Our days never be flashy. Exactly. Like, I don't know what the draw is with this shit, but whatever, man. I guess you gotta do it for the gram.
Bro, I am not even lying. But here's what y'all need to understand before we get into it. This wasn't random. This wasn't just some beef that popped off. According to the DOJ, this was a calculated, coordinated setup. And to understand why Pooh Shiesty allegedly put a gun in Gucci Mane's face, we gotta go back and break down everything that led to this moment. Gucci Mane, real name Radrick Davis, is not just a rapper. He is one of the founding fathers of trap music.
I wonder if this voiceover is AI, because he said Radrick. Radrick? Isn't it Roderick? Yeah, all right.
Anyone in Atlanta history, Waka Flocka, Young Thug, Future, Migos, all of them have credited Gucci Mane as a blueprint. He built his 1017 Records label from scratch.
All right, this AI. I said 1017 record label.
Oh my God.
What the hell is 1017 records? All right, man. Listen. All right. Damn it. All right. Yeah, this is an AI voiceover. I ain't mad, but okay. 1017. Is that an address, man? 1017 Radrick Street. What the f are we doing?
Went to federal prison himself, came home, got clean, got in shape, got married, and rebuilt his entire brand into something even bigger. That second chapter for Gucci, that's where Pooh Shiesty enters the picture. Around 2020, Gucci Mane was on a mission to rebuild 1017 records with new talent. He had an...
All right. Okay. All right, y'all. It's pretty clear at this point that this thing probably gonna keep saying 1017 records. So I want to forewarn y'all because I don't think he ever gonna say 1017. I don't think so, but whatever. All right. I guess today is 1017 records. All right.
For raw, authentic energy. And when he heard a young rapper...
Wait, he said 1007.
out of Memphis named Lontrell Williams Jr., going by Pooh Shiesty. He knew immediately what he had. Pooh Shiesty had been grinding independently, no label, no cosign, just Memphis energy and internet streams. But it was real, it was catching, and Gucci recognized it. So in April 2020, Gucci Mane signed Pooh Shiesty to 1017 Records, a joint venture with Atlantic Records. And what happened next? That's where the story goes from a regular come-up to something that nobody saw coming. Pooh Shiesty had a top 15 record on the Billboard Hot 100. No cap. November 2020, he drops Back in Blood featuring Lil Durk. It hits number 13. Then he gets featured on Spot 'em Got 'em's Beatbox 2, peaks at number 12. 2 top 15 records in his first year signed. Then in February 2021, he drops his debut tape,
Shiesty Season. That was a dope
debuts at
project.
number 3 on the Billboard 200 as a debut. from a 20-year-old from Memphis who a year earlier had zero major label backing. Chat, are we surprised Gucci wasn't trying to let this man out of his contract? Because I'm not surprised, not even a little. But here's the other side of this that matters for the story. Pooh Shiesty didn't just bring himself to 1017, he also brought his cousin. Big Scar, real name Alexander Woods, was another Memphis rapper, survived a car accident at 16 that left scars on his face. Got shot in the hip in 2020, bullet traveled up to his chest, doctors had to split him open to save his life. This man went through it, and Pooh Shiesty took his music and put it directly in front of Gucci Mane. Gucci heard it and signed Big Scar immediately. So now you've got Pooh Shiesty putting on his cousin, his whole Memphis crew has a platform, and Gucci Mane is the man who made all of it possible. This is where it gets complicated, because everything Gucci gave, he also held. And those contract terms, Pooh Shiesty was about to feel them in the worst way. So get this, right in the middle of all that momentum, while Back in Blood is still charming the charts, things start going sideways legally for Pooh Shiesty. October 2020, he and two other men allegedly drove to a hotel in Bay Harbor Islands, Florida to buy marijuana and a pair of high-end sneakers from two men. According to federal prosecutors, instead of paying, they shot both men and drove off with the goods. Surveillance cameras caught the whole thing, including a lime green.
This is an important thing to note here, right? Because I told y'all this before. These kind of crimes ain't worth it, bro. There's cameras everywhere, man. It's just not worth it to do these crimes, especially if you're a celebrity. You're a known figure. What do you think is gonna happen? And then you out here in a bright-ass Ferrari committing these crimes? Like, what are we talking? King Black Power said, where the contracts at? They always bring that up, but where's the proof? It said, this more AI than Iverson. Listen, I'm going to get my thoughts later, but I will say this about the contracts, right? At the end of the day, you signed those contracts. You signed the contract. It's not no verbal agreement. You actually got documentation, which I'm assuming that you had a lawyer present for, and you signed those contracts. These guys at the end of the day are the guys that gave you the opportunity. They gave you the opportunity. And I think what people fail to miss in these conversations is that when these guys bank on you and they give you these contracts and they sign you, they're signing you based on the potential that you could recoup and you could make some money. You could be profitable. You could be a successful artist. There's a lot of situations where these guys sign people and it never happens. And then there's situations where you sign somebody and then it does happen and they become bigger than you even imagined. You can't then at that point say, oh my gosh, I'm getting in this contract. You got to be smart enough to understand that you are entering a legal agreement. You are in a binding contract. So whatever the terms are in that contract, you got to factor in how that's going to look to you numbers-wise when you become an even bigger artist. You seen a bigger number of your percentage going to that damn label, whoever signs you. But you signed that. Get to the end of the term, fulfill your contract. It's okay to have conversations. You can renegotiate, but this ain't the way to do it, dog. I'm just saying, these people, they look at you and they give you an opportunity. Now, it may be in their advantage because at the end of the day, they gambling with you, right? You know, they gambling with you at the end of the day. So they may need more incentive to say, all right, I believe in you, I'm going to sign you. You got to understand, like, bruh, let me look into this contract. If down the line I sell this amount of records, like, man, maybe I shouldn't do this deal right here. You know? But, hey. I'm just saying.
McLaren leaving the scene. Then Memorial Day weekend 2021, he allegedly shot a security guard in the leg at the King of Diamonds strip club in Miami during an altercation.
Not at
over
King of
money.
Diamonds.
2 open felony cases in Florida while he's a rising rap star. July 2021, federal indictment, conspiracy to possess firearms in furtherance of crimes of violence and drug trafficking. A potential life sentence hanging over a 21-year-old rapper with 2 top 15 records. January 2022, he takes a plea deal, pleads guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to possess firearms, gets sentenced to 63 months in federal prison. He goes in at 22 years old, his career on pause, his fans waiting, and his 2017 contract still very much in effect. Bro, that's actually crazy when you think about it. He's behind bars, can't make music, can't tour, can't earn, and Gucci Mane still owns a major piece of his masters and his deal. The contract doesn't pause when you go to prison, it just sits there waiting. And while Pooh Shiesty was sitting in a cell, something happened on the outside that changed everything.
I'm guessing he felt some type of way, being in jail, can't make no music, can't release no shit, and maybe the money that's coming in being split, and maybe because he not out there, he not doing shows, he not getting money from that, he's starting to feel like, damn, shit is getting kind of low, these funds getting kind of dry, what are we gonna do? And now you see that percentage split that been there, and now you got an issue with it. But bro, you not outside making music. That's the problem. You not out there making music, and that was the whole point in that contract. You supposed to be outside making music. What?
Y'all are not ready for this part. December 22nd, 2022. Big Scar, Pooh Shiesty's cousin, the man he personally put on at 1017, the man overdosed at his girlfriend's home in Memphis.
1017. This thing gonna say it a different time every time, bruh. 1017, 1017. He gonna say a whole bunch of other different ways other than 1017.
He is 22 years old. Pooh Shiesty is in federal prison when this happens. Can't be at the funeral, can't be there for the family, just sitting with that grief from behind bars. And then the story coming out of Memphis goes viral, and it is not pretty for Gucci Mane. Big Scar's brother, Quez Ruthless, goes live on Instagram and says Gucci promised to cover the funeral costs and then blocked the family when they called to confirm. He said Gucci told them he couldn't pay for the funeral because his wife's birthday was coming up. But wait, that's not even the part that really hit different on the streets. Quez also said on that live that Gucci Mane asked for the 1017 chain back, the chain he gave Big Scar when he signed him. His artist just passed away, body's not even in the ground, and allegedly the first order of business was getting the chain back.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if that's been verified, but that would be fucked up to ask for the chain back. Unless it's because what they said about him wasn't true, and now he was like, I want the chain back. I don't know.
Big Scar's sister Alexandra confirmed it on social media. Said yes, he asked for the chains back. Said the chains were staying with the family. Now Gucci's team disputed the funeral story. His wife posted receipts showing $20,000 paid to the funeral.
Oh, see? Okay, well, hey. They got receipts. Said payment directly to the funeral home. $10,000. Hey, look, that's crazy. First of all, the fact that it take $10,000 to bury anybody is criminal within itself. But that's a whole nother story, y'all. That's a whole nother story. America.
Funeral home, but the total cost was $60,000, and the chain conversation
$60,000
stuck on the streets in Memphis and in a federal prison cell where Pooh Shiesty was sitting with nowhere to go and nothing to do but think. That's his cousin, his blood, the rapper he vouched for. And in the week of that man's passing, the main conversation allegedly became jewelry and funeral expense disputes. No cap, if you're already feeling some type of way about your contract.
Not they got the AI saying no cap.
What the hell?
Oh, God, bro. Yeah, America got so much shit that's like predatory and just, a grieving family, bro. To tell a grieving family they got to spend over 10 grand to bury a loved one is just insane to me. I just don't understand the type of shit we got in place in America sometimes. It's just weird. But yeah.
And then you hear about how your cousin's family got treated. That changes how you see a person. That changes what you're willing to do when you finally get out. Fast forward to October 6th, 2025. Pooh Shiesty walks out of federal prison after serving over 3 years. He's 25 years old and he's hungry. The rap game kept moving without him, but his name still carried weight. He's placed in a residential re-entry program in Dallas, Texas. Ankle monitor on. Home detention conditions active. He cannot leave without authorization, cannot possess a firearm, cannot commit another crime, any violation, and he goes right back to finish the rest of his sentence plus whatever new time gets added. December 2025. He drops FDO, meaning first day out. It debuts at number 22.
That song hard, bro. One of my favorite songs, too. I think it was dope. I think it was a strong way for him to come out, after getting released. And I think that proved to a lot of people that he still had a hold. A lot of artists don't come out of prison with that kind of momentum. There's a lot of artists that can't do that shit, you know? And he definitely came out strong, but damn, this was dumb.
Billboard Hot 100. Chat, are we surprised? His very first song back and it charts immediately. The fan base is still there. Despite that chart performance, despite the proof that he's still a commercially viable artist, he is still locked into his 2017 deal. And according to everything the DOJ laid out, Pooh Shiesty wanted out of that contract badly. Years in prison feeling trapped under terms he agreed to when he was a teenager, watching his cousin's family go through drama with the label, coming home to find Gucci still holding all the cards. He wanted freedom, and he allegedly decided to get it himself. According to the DOJ, the plan didn't just involve Pooh Shiesty. His own father was allegedly in on it from the beginning, Lontrell Williams Sr. He allegedly rented the car the group used to move around Dallas.
Let me guess. You went in that rental agency, you gave him your license, you gave him everything. You gave him your card, everything. You rented that shit, the insurance under your name, all that shit. Great first move, man, for the crime that we're about to commit. Great first move. Authorities say some of the evidence they have against Pooh Shiesty and his co-defendants includes electronic monitoring, placing Shiesty at the scene. God damn. Cell phone records, license plate reader data, rental car records, surveillance footage, fingerprint evidence, social media posts, Greyhound bus records. Like, dog, you know, if you moving as a group getting ready to commit a crime, like, I think it's crazy that you do this shit and not one of these steps makes you feel like, you know what? Hey, you think we leaving a trail or some shit? You think they're gonna find us out? And then, you know, you gonna have that one that's gonna be like, man, you act like a real bitch right now.
You know what, nigga? You act like a little bitch right now.
They signed that contract in front of you. That is always gonna be somebody that's gonna gas you up and make you forget that all this shit exists. I mean, damn, you literally have an electronic monitor on your ankle, bruh. Cell phone records, that part, license plates, you giving your information at the rental car agency, that part, none of that, none of that. Okay, all right, I guess, shit crazy.
License plate reader data show multiple defendants traveling.
Oh, the Greyhound thing, I do want to say something to that too. The Greyhound thing is interesting because they brought, remember, he's in Texas, right? They brought all their people down for this occasion. So they came down, but I don't know if they came down on a plane or they came in a plane and then left in a Greyhound. But I heard that the money was tight, so they had to send on Greyhounds. Now imagine, random Pooh Shiesty affiliate is sitting on a Greyhound, ready to go do some shit in a whole nother state. You can't make this shit up. You sitting on the Greyhound for hours thinking about what you about to go do, and nothing in your mind said, you know what? This is probably not a good idea.
From Memphis to Dallas together in the days before January 10th, these people didn't just show up. This was organized movement, coordinated travel, a crew assembled specifically for this. And then there's Big 30, real name Rodney Lamont Wright Jr., childhood friend of Pooh Shiesty, also from Memphis.
Big 30 is a decent artist as well.
They grew up together, made neighbors together, are as close as it gets in this industry. But here's the thing. Big 30 is signed to Moneybagg Yo's Bread Gang label, not 1017. He has zero personal beef with Gucci Mane. No contract dispute, no grievances, nothing. He was there for one reason only, because his brother from Memphis called him. So you've got the father coordinating logistics, you've got Memphis members making the drive, you've got Big 30 ready to move, and you've got Pooh Shiesty on an ankle monitor on home detention, not supposed to leave, not supposed to touch a firearm, getting ready to walk into that studio. January 10th, 2026, Dallas, Texas, a recording studio. Gucci Mane and 2 other music industry professionals travel to Dallas for what they believe is a contract discussion with Pooh Shiesty. This is presented as a legitimate business meeting. Pooh Shiesty himself arranged it, framing it as a conversation about his recording contract terms. Gucci Mane shows up. He even has off-duty police officers with him as security. Professional, above board, a normal industry meeting. And then Pooh Shiesty and his 8 co-conspirators execute what the DOJ calls an armed takeover. He pulls out an AK-style pistol, points it at one of the victims, and according to federal prosecutors, forces that person to sign a release from the recording contract at gunpoint.
So that person is Gucci Mane. In the paperwork, they got him named as RD, which we know is Roger Davis. And they said that Pooh Shiesty came in. Pooh Shiesty asked to talk to him in a separate room. They went to talk. The conversation got heated. Pooh Shiesty calls in Big 30. He tells Big 30, go get the duffel bag. Big 30 goes to get the bag. Inside the bag is a Draco. He takes the Draco and he points it at Gucci. You gonna sign this contract. Yeah.
While Pooh handles the contract situation, the rest of the crew draws weapons on the other victims. Rolex watches stripped off, jewelry taken, cash gone. And one victim, according to the DOJ, was choked to the point of near unconsciousness. They have photos of the injuries to the wrist.
All right, this part I want to point out real quick because this guy allegedly is a photographer. I guess he works with Gucci Mane. I don't know to what capacity, but here go what make this crime stupid as well. Because I see a lot of people talking about, oh, the snitching. Yo, he's snitching, this snitch. Oh, people, they telling. If you go and you talking to Gucci and you looking at Gucci like a street, and you like, yeah, Gucci ain't gonna snitch. It is what it is. We gonna figure this shit on the back end somehow. He ain't gonna snitch. Sir, there are people in there that you are assaulting. They talk to the police. They talk to the cops. Like, you see this guy in that building. You do everything you doing. You think he not gonna tell the police what happened? Are you... This don't rap. He don't rap. He's a photographer. He didn't sign up for this. But y'all felt the need to choke this man and hurt this man and then think he not gonna say who he saw in that studio at the time? Like, let's be honest, bro. This is just dumb. You gotta tell it how it is. It's dumb because the fact of the matter is Pooh Shiesty went in there on some street shit to handle business with street shit. When you initially got into the business, it wasn't no street shit. There were contracts involved. There were lawyers involved, labels involved, all that shit. That was business. So now to get out of this business contract, you bring in the street shit. And I understand they might be looking at Gucci like Gucci is street. So this is how they got to deal with it. No. This is business, bro. This is a whole nother world. In the business world, this is not how you handle this shit. If that was the case, nobody would be in contract with all these street that's rapping. Nobody would be in contracts they don't want to be in. But everybody understands that this is not, you can't respond to business disputes like this. Like, what the are we talking about? Like, at this point, are you going to go to Walmart and if Walmart don't let you return some headphones that you bought 30 days ago, 30 days already passed, you can't return it no more. Are you going to go to the front counter and pull out a Draco? That's not how this shit works, man. And it's sad to see that you can't understand that if you go into the room and there's a whole bunch of other people in there, they might talk to the cops, bruh. If it was just you and Gucci, man, you might get away with that shit. But you got this guy in there. There's another guy who actually spoke on this. And then on top of that, Gucci Mane's security is an ex-cop. This is dumb. I'm just saying this is stupid, but let's continue. If I see this man in the studio and I already know I'm about to do a crime, I'm not doing the crime. I'm not doing it.
Big 30, he's at the door the whole time, physically barricading it so nobody can leave, nobody can call for help, nobody can escape. Under federal law, that makes him just as criminally responsible for everything that happened on the other side of that door. And remember those off-duty police officers Gucci Mane brought for security? They witnessed every single second of it. Trained law enforcement, first-hand.
Wait, are they off-duty or ex-cops? That's crazy.
And eyewitnesses. That's not one civilian account. Those are credentialed law enforcement observations that are now federal witness testimony. What the? Bro, this is actually insane.
All right, AI trying hard right now to sound like us. They're trying hard to sound like us right now. AI said, bro, what the
Here's where it gets really insane, because the feds didn't just have eyewitnesses, they had everything. The ankle monitor Pooh Shiesty was wearing as part of his home detention, it placed him directly at the studio location. His own government-mandated tracking device recorded his presence at the scene of the alleged crime and confirmed he violated his home confinement conditions. No cap, that might be the wildest detail of this entire situation. The monitor that was supposed to keep him in line became one of the main pieces of evidence against him. Then the cell phone records and license plate reader data confirmed the coordinated travel from Memphis to Dallas. Rental car records showed Williams Sr. booked the vehicle the crew used. Surveillance cameras caught activity at the studio, at a nearby office supply store, and at the hotel where multiple defendants stayed afterward. Latent fingerprints recovered from the crime scene matched 2 defendants. And then, word to my mother, within hours of the robbery.
This nigga did not say word to my mother. AI is out of control right now, man. AI is out of control. To my mother. It's crazy. Lord have mercy.
Multiple suspects were on social media posting the stolen goods. DeMarcus Glover posted pictures of himself wearing the stolen jewelry. Terrence Rogers posted a video showing a Rolex believed to have been taken from the victims. You kidnap Gucci Mane, you rob him at gunpoint, and then you post the Rolexes on Instagram before the sun goes down. Greyhound records then showed multiple defendants catching the bus back from Dallas to Memphis the next day.
They did pack him up on a Greyhound. Golly, man. Shit crazy.
Took a Greyhound home after robbing one of the biggest names in rap. Those bus records are now federal evidence. April 1st, 2026. FBI and DOJ coordinate simultaneous takedowns across 3 cities. In Memphis, agents raid the Williams family home in Cordova, Tennessee. Lontrell Williams Sr. is taken into custody there. The father, the alleged planner, arrested at the family house. Pooh Shiesty is arrested in Dallas, the same city where he'd been placed in his residential re-entry program. The man was supposed to be finishing his transition back to normal life. Instead, he got arrested in the city his ankle monitor had been tracking him in for months. Big 30 arrested. 6 other co-conspirators picked up across Dallas, Memphis, and Nashville. 8 of 9 in custody in one day. The 9th, Terrence Rogers, still at large at the time of the press conference. And the charges? Kidnapping, armed robbery, conspiracy. Every single person involved faces up to life in prison upon conviction. Life. Pooh Shiesty had previously avoided a life sentence by taking a plea deal on his earlier firearms case. Now he's looking at potential life again. At 26 years old, 6 months after walking out of prison while still on his ankle monitor. U.S. Attorney Ryan Raybould said it directly at the press conference. This case should serve as a warning to others who believe that using violence and intimidation tactics to rob others in our community is a viable way to conduct business. And that's the full story of how Gucci Mane allegedly got robbed by his own artist, the man he discovered, signed, made a millionaire, and whose cousin he also put on. Gucci gave Pooh Shiesty everything: major label deal, Atlantic Records distribution, a platform that took him from grinding in Memphis to number 3 on the Billboard 200 in under a year. He even signed Pooh's cousin off Pooh's recommendation. And according to the DOJ, Pooh Shiesty's response to feeling stuck in his contract was to fly his Memphis crew into Dallas, recruit his own father as a co-conspirator, recruit Big 30, who had absolutely nothing to do with any of this, and walk into a studio meeting with an AK-style pistol while wearing a government ankle monitor. Big 30 had his own career, his own lane, his own future, and because he showed up for his brother, he is now looking at life in a federal prison. The name has always been Shiesty. His own late brother gave him that name because he felt...
All right, we logging off. Shiesty? I'm done, that Shiesty. Nah, bro, we gotta go. We appreciate the information. The information was great. We appreciate it. But Shiesty? Shiesty? I'm out, brother. I'ma holler at you. I'm out. Shiesty is crazy. Shiesty is wild, bruh. Shiesty at the end, my God. Yeah, we gotta go. I appreciate it. But we gotta leave, brother. Nah, we don't need no to-go plate or nothing like that. We good. Got food at the crib. We got Shiesty as well. Pooh Shiesty. Uh-oh, they got shit popping up. Hold on. Gucci Man purchased a Trackhawk for Pooh Shiesty in 2021 using Shiesty's royalty. Now I'm not going to be able to stop saying Shiesty. Pooh Shiesty. What is... Oh, gosh. Pink said, did you watch the company man's video about it? I think he used the clip that C&I just posted in the main chat. Nah, I didn't watch his. Let me see.
Refresh it. That's where I live at. Look. I ain't lying to you. I ain't playing no game.
You can mute the joint right now, Tony.
I don't want to play like that.
It was straight. Y'all get out Bryce, bro. He you know.
Okay. So I guess that's him talking to his PO. If he in a place he not supposed to be in, man, I don't know, man. This shit all kind of crazy, man. So it said Gucci Man purchased a Trackhawk for Pooh Shiesty in 2021 using Shiesty's royalty and music sales.
Come on, bro. You gotta get in with me, man.
Oh, so look at your round. Look at your.
Get your phone up.
Put my phone on leg. Give me a slime. Get my other phone here. Get my other phone, man. Hey, what we doing here, bro? Give me right, bro. Slime over here for my guy, man. His birthday.
So, all right. So he bought him a Trackhawk. Whoop-de-doo. Listen, man. Whether he used his royalties or whatever, who knows what he used for it, bro. The fact of the matter is they gave him a car. Look, Afro Butterfly said it the best. Car is a depreciating asset. That is a fact. That is a fact. But, you know, this the shit we be on, right? Y'all said the company, man. Let's check out Justin. Pooh Shiesty. Let's see the full criminal complaint, all right?
Now, here are the details. Follow along here because this is dumb, all right?
Follow along here because this shit dumb. You can't make this shit up. They said, don't buy me anything, put the money in my hand and get out my face. Yo, that's a fact. Don't buy me shit. Just give me the damn money, bro. Like, don't be buying me no car, no depreciated asset, bright ass green too. I'm a target out here. Come on, man. Golly. Okay, so these are photos that they had from outside the damn studio. So again, when I keep telling y'all there's footage of everything everywhere, they got them at the scene already. And they got them making calls at specific times, which they could corroborate with, you know, the cell phone records so they could see who they was speaking to, who they was calling. Like, this shit is just dumb. So these are also photos they have of inside the studio. And then this part was interesting too. It said the victims overheard Williams Jr. talking on his cell phone, potentially with a probation or parole officer. So they calling this again while he doing some shit he not supposed to be doing, stating that his caseworker had given him permission to be out for rec time. From what the victims could hear, Williams Jr. was informed that was not the case and he needed to return immediately. So wherever he was at, he wasn't supposed to be there. already. And Williams Jr. agreed. Williams Jr. was wearing an ankle monitor. Bruh, this shit crazy. And this is the part where they said he told Williams Jr. they could reschedule their meeting, the studio session actually. But Jr. requested to speak with RD privately in the attached recording room. They entered the recording room with Williams Jr., Williams Sr., and Wright. Meanwhile, MM and BP remained in the control room with the 6 other individuals. They probably was sitting there like, what the going on? Okay, let's watch this part.
Tried to force Gucci Mane at gunpoint to sign release forms. That doesn't even hold up in court. If you sign paperwork under duress, that signed paperwork is not legal. It's
all this shit for what? At this point, all this shit for what? What is it for? You do all this shit, now you going to jail, you going to prison, possibly for the rest of your life, to get out of a contract, only to sign a new contract with the penitentiary. Now, when you think about it that way, was the contract really that bad? You traded in a contract that you thought was bad money-wise for a contract with the penitentiary for life. And you still under contract. What are we doing? This shit is insane.
And so now it went from a contract dispute to now it is
a full-blown robbery
happening across state lines. And so now they've compounded one serious legal situation with another serious legal situation.
I didn't even factor in the fact that they crossed state lines to come do this shit. My God.
Now they're all facing life in prison.
Tomato.
As Gucci, Pooh Shiesty, and Pooh Shiesty's dad and Wright exited the recording room, the remaining suspects, Waters, Rogers, Johnson, Glover, McDaniel, and Gibson, there's a lot of them. There's a basketball team worth of cats out here.
Yeah, they came out on the Greyhound like a basketball team. They arrived on a bus like a team, dog. That shit is crazy, man. They arrived there like a team, and they left like a team that just won the championship game. They was all like, yeah, take my photo. Yeah. You see that? Yeah, on the wrist. Like, take that. They arrived like a championship team, and they left like one on the Greyhound. Take this for the gram right quick. Give me right quick. That's what they did. Shit crazy.
Who traveled across state lines to force Gucci to sign release paperwork that was not valid since it was coerced. And while they're there, they rob him of his wedding ring, his earrings, and cash, and more.
Tomato.
These 9 guys produced handguns or AR-AK style pistols and began to demand property from BP and MM. These are the other people. So other people in here got robbed as well. BP was pushed onto a couch in the control room while an individual known to BP as CMO Damn Fool and part of Williams Jr.'s crew, later identified as Rogers, searched his pockets and stole his wallet. BP's chain and a necklace bearing the moniker 1017 were stolen from his neck by another subject he knew as Glizzy 375, later identified as McDaniel. During the robbery, McDaniel repeatedly threatened to shoot BP for moving, but Williams Jr. instructed McDaniel not to. BP further identified an individual he knew as Baby Slime 375, later identified as Johnson, as being involved in the kidnapping and robbery, and that during the control room robberies, Robinson possessed a firearm and held BP and others at gunpoint. Both MM and BP identified an individual they knew as KD, later identified as Waters.
And remember, listen, I told y'all about this. Y'all out here robbing people. Y'all got people involved in these situations that don't subscribe to no street shit. Like this guy right here who is just a photographer. And y'all think he not gonna say who was there? It's right here. MM and BP identified an individual they knew as KD. Y'all think they on some no snitching shit? This is so dumb. It don't even make no sense. It don't make no sense. It's just dumb. Like midway through this, you got to be thinking this is a bad idea.
With handguns drawn, CW and TD managed to partially open the door, but recognized that they were outnumbered by the armed target suspect. Gucci Mane was pushed onto the couch in the control room, causing the victims to believe they were going to be executed. Pooh Shiesty placed the barrel of a firearm to the back of BP's head and ordered him and Gucci to leave the control room and the studio through the west entrance of the building. Gucci then instructed CW and TD to escort them to their vehicle. As the victims left, MM turned to Pooh Shiesty and asked him if they were really taking his watches. Y'all really robbing? You really stealing the watches too? Based on later recovered surveillance video footage, the target suspects left the studio and the office building through the east entrance approximately 4:48 p.m. And so you can see that here.
They even got them in the vehicles they leaving in. They got them when they left. They got the tags. They got people turning around to take a photo. Like, what the fuck? Like, bruh, this is dumb. Talk about not thinking in the moment. Nobody was thinking. How you collectively, a group of people, and not one person in that group said, yo, I ain't gonna lie, man. It's broad daylight out here, man. You think we should be doing this shit? Maybe we should just talk to that about the contract. Don't understand this. Look, it says right here, Williams Jr. agreed not to possess any deadly weapon or knowingly be in the company of person possessing the same. You cooked on that alone. That right there alone you cooked on. You're done. Because they got you on camera around all these people with guns.
Well, he's the one who said, go get my bag. Go get my bag.
Exactly.
Oh, Gucci don't want to sign the paperwork? Go get my bag.
Listen, I've heard a song from Pooh Shiesty where Pooh Shiesty say, 30, go get the Drake. I can't confirm nor deny whether that is like them recounting what happened here. I'm just saying. Just pointing that out.
Tomato.
He's wearing an ankle monitor. I'm not sure what success looked like in his mind going into this crime, this federal crime that crosses state lines. I don't know what success looked like in his mind wearing an ankle monitor, but it's all happening.
Tomato.
Staples. On the day of the offense at approximately 1:50 p.m., Williams Sr. was seen on video entering a Staples located at 3333 Preston.
So he goes to Staples, and it says Williams Sr. enters the store and walks to the copy printer machines. Investigators obtain a copy of a receipt that confirms that a transaction occurred at the copy printer machines at 1:59. The time Williams Sr. is seen on surveillance video near the machines. Due to the close timing of this visit to Staples prior to the offense, hold on. Fact that Williams Sr. went straight to the printing area of the store and the timing of the receipt confirming the transaction occurred while Williams Sr. was at or near these printers. Investigators believe that Williams Sr. and Williams Jr. went to Staples for the purpose of printing off the contractual release that was presented to RD. Now, that brings us back to where we were talking about whether or not they knew that this whole thing was going to go down. This is something that they would use for that. You know, obviously, if you showing up there with all these printouts, you went there with a purpose to get him to sign these printouts. But there's still the doubt there that did you go there with intentions for him to sign this under duress? So I don't know. Then they got cell phone records. This shit crazy, man. So they flashing money. They flashing watches. My God, bro. Look at this shit. This is them on Instagram. They got it all documented. This is crazy, man. Let's see. Seti Nash explains how Gucci Mane robbery went down.
All you bloggers, y'all bloggers. Y'all not, I'm really in these streets, bro. The video is going to reveal this big 30. Mind you, the feds already have all this shit. They had it for over a month now. Pooh Shiesty over here antagonizing shit. I'll tell you about that later. So, Gucci walk in the damn studio, bro, with his people to Draco's. The footage is going to show Pooh Shiesty had one on him. Big 30 had one on him. Only person who really going to escape from this is the Pops. The Pops did not want none of this to go on. like this, bro. Gucci look at the dad like,
if that's what actually went down, then that tells us that he probably didn't think that this is how it was going to happen. I don't know. If that's how it really went down. If there's actual footage of this and that's what it shows, then that's a whole nother story. But
down. You can't tell your son nothing right now. Your son the number one right now. You gonna sign this. Sign the damn papers. And we need that. Wedding ring. Watch. Come up out that. The person who closed the door is Big 30. He got his Draco. That's why they put the warrant out for him. This is all on camera. So nothing I'm telling y'all ain't shit that the feds don't know. A lot of y'all gonna be like, oh, bro, this Fed word. It really ain't. I tried to say to by saying he wasn't there. Saying he left and then these cats did whatever they did. I tried.
Not sure that's something you should be admitting on camera?
yeah,
I tried to get the
yo, for real, bro. Golly.
By the time I get to Dallas, these done already left. It's a whole rumor out there. It's gonna come out later. It is what it is. I'm not gonna confirm or deny anything, but I will tell y'all this. I was about this close. But the people who had the jewelry, shit, they on paranoia mode. And I get it. So I ain't even mad at that one. Now, there's certain details I'm not gonna put out because obviously it is what it is. I'll plead the fifth all day. I don't give a shit. They don't know nothing anyways. I know who knows what, and I know more than what the hell I'm letting know. But it is what it is.
You know, I never understood that. Pleading the fifth and then saying on camera that you're going to plead the fifth, but you know more than everybody. I don't see where that is like a great idea. But again, I ain't no street. I don't subscribe to these streets. I'm just saying, bruh, it's kind of crazy to say I plead the fifth all day. I do know information. I know a lot more than people think I know. Like, just me. That's just me.
It's very transparent.
They do that shit. They leave. Gucci Mane pissed, confused, hurt. Gucci say nothing. The cameraman and the little homie are running through everywhere doing this. They telling people, give me 5,000, I'll break the whole story to you. Give me 3,000, I'll break the whole story to you. Hey, I got the footage, bruh. Y'all can break the story. Y'all can have nobody, and I'm proud of the industry for this. And all, I'll give them. It's literally some people who ain't street at all that could have had that footage and said, hell no, we ain't touching that. So behind the scenes, they've been trying to give this damn footage up.
Damn. I did hear about this a while ago. I think just nobody knew what the was like, true or not, or people just didn't want to touch this. Like he said. But damn, that shit wild. Yeah, listen, my whole thing on this is at the end of the day, this was a stupid ass crime because what did you get out this? You got nothing out of it. You still under contract, you still signed to this there, and you facing life. It's just a stupid move and it's without direction. And if whether or not his dad knew what was going on or what they was actually gonna do, like he should have better guided his son in this situation. Being the senior, like, bro, you gotta do better than this because now you can watch your son basically get life in prison. Shit is crazy. Pink said in FDO, he said his dad was his first yeah, he did say that. His first Cody, a new comment, oh God, said, and his last. Yeah. King Black Power says, so why did daddy go get the contract just hours before and why the feds revoked his bond? I don't know. I'm just saying, if he went there hours before to get it, if he was in there, like, you know, damn, maybe that's not how he knew, how he thought it was going to go down. Maybe he thought they was going to talk to him and he was actually going to, I don't know. J Hook said they did get something out of this. A what? A case in jail time? Yeah, man. This shit, wow, man. This is how I'm going to end this. I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to get the Discord in here. I know King Black Power want to come in here and talk about this, and I do want to hear your opinions on this. But this is what I'm going to say with this whole thing, man. At the end of the day, it's split between people who look at this. You got a group of people that say, this is stupid as fuck. You got another group of people that say, yo, Shiesty real as shit because he really living his raps. And you got another group that says, yo, Gucci Mane a snitch. And you got another group that said, well, Gucci Mane did what he had to do. I know in the paperwork, they're saying that Gucci Mane actually spoke and identified them. But at this point, you on camera, bruh. You on camera. I don't give a shit what Gucci Mane did or didn't do. I'ma just keep it real on that point. I don't give a shit whether he identified them or not. That's not my business. And I know people gonna go back and say, yo, Gucci Mane, you know, back then he said, you know, he died before he started snitching. Listen, that's that man life. Again, I mind my business when it comes to that. That ain't none of my business to be up in his shit trying to figure out what he did and why he did it. Obviously, if he did it, he had a reason to do it. Just like if he didn't tell, he got a reason to not tell. And the only person you're going to hear that from is Gucci Mane. Even with Gucci Mane saying, yo, I would never snitch. At the end of the day, this is a Gucci Mane who is now married, got out of prison, changed his life as far as his health, up to shit on the business side, and did this shit. In my mind, he working all business at this point. If he changed and he decided like, yo, I'm not getting involved in that shit, that's not my life no more, that's on Gucci Mane, dog. This is why I don't subscribe to the street shit, because at the end of the day, be flip-flopping. One day is all no snitch. Then they get caught in that same game that they volunteered to be in and the same rules that they volunteered to abide by. And now for you to get out of there and survive, you ready to tell on somebody. This shit crazy. It's just stupid as shit. What do you get out of that? You get a couple people on the outside that's gonna be like, yeah, he a real. That's all you need? What do you get out of that? Like in my mind, the way I look at this shit is I always say there's different kinds of people, right? You got men, you got street. The men are that could sit there and talk to each other about disputes, could figure shit out like grown men. Then you got street who feel like they gotta apply the streets to every thing. They gotta subscribe to this no snitch shit. And then you got another group of people, bitches. You got men, street, and bitches.
Oh my God.
It is a fact that you can be a street and a bitch at the same time. That's a fact. I'm just saying, man. We see street do bitch shit all the time. We see street get confronted on some shit, won't put their hands up, but be quick to pull their gun out. Bitch shit. Who say they about the streets, they never gonna do this, never gonna do that, they subscribe to it, and in a minute you get caught doing some shit, you turn into a bitch. I'm just saying, bruh. And this is why I don't subscribe to that shit, because it's stupid as fuck. There's no loyalty in that shit, man. I'd rather be a man than be a street any day. Men gotta deal with real shit. Men gotta take care of their families. Men gotta take care of they wives. They gotta take care of like they kids. They gotta do shit that men gotta do. Sometimes it's disagreements, but these know how to sit and talk about that shit. Sit and have conversations, bro, like a grown-ass man. You got a dispute? You don't like your contract? Talk about that shit. How do we get out of that shit? Because I know at the end of the day, we conducting business. You feel me? You don't gotta be no street to earn your respect. You don't. Just don't be no bitch. That's all I'm saying, bro. And like, could say whatever they want, bro. They could say whatever they want. I wasn't in the streets like that. I was around street. Guess what I was? All the time a man, because I made my own decisions. I ain't follow nobody. I was never a follower. Never. So if I wasn't feeling that shit, I ain't subscribed to it. I just didn't subscribe to it. Now, I'm not saying I could have never went in that direction, because I had homies that I grew up with that went in that direction. For me, fortunately, I was hooping. So I ain't had no time for that shit. I was so focused on hooping, I ain't had time to be out there like that doing dumb shit. And plus, I had parents that was always in my business. You feel me? And I do understand there's a lot of street out there who, you know, ain't had no choice but to be street. You don't gotta be a bitch. Okay? You just don't gotta be a bitch. You could be a street and be a man at the same time. Just don't be no bitch. You feel me? Stand on business, stand for yours, you know, defend your family, but don't be a bitch. That's all it is. I said I was supposed to stop cussing, and I said bitch like 30 times. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? This shit is wild, man. I don't subscribe to none of that street shit. I think it's dumb. I think a lot of people with potential lost their lives, lost a lot of shit to the streets, because ain't no loyalty in these streets, man. Everybody cutthroat, bro. Ain't no loyalty out here. The minute somebody get caught and they get a deal presented, you're done. You're gone. I done seen street be loyal to the cause, go to jail, and they shorty outside getting clapped. You want to make somebody change up on you? Go to prison. Have your shorty say she holding you down, and you find out somebody close to you clapping. I bet that shit change them quick. Y'all remember Nikki Barnes?
This is not a song. This is a revelation. How to get a nigga gone.
I need you a man, baby. I don't understand, baby. Pay your bill and make you feel protected like I can, baby. Teach you something if you need correction. That's the plan, baby. Don't put your life in these weird niggas' hands, baby.